Hello, so today we will be talking about RESP. It's simply a great way where you can save for your child's education and government contributes some money into it as well. How much they contribute, how they contribute, we will jump into that. But main thing about this account is it is for the kids' education. So if your kid is planning to go to, let's say after high school, they're planning to go do a doctorate, they're planning to become a lawyer, they're planning to become any single thing, right? So every course or everything that they will be doing after their high school, it will require a ton of money, as we all know. So RESP is where we can plan for your kids' education. Also, government will be helping in these grants. What is an RESP? It's basically a tax sheltered investment account which helps parents to save for their child's education while benefiting from the government grants and the tax deferred growth. Who can open up RESP? Your parents can open up RESPs, grandparents can open, any legal guardians can open up for a child under the age of 18. How does RESP works? We're gonna talk about the contributions, the grants, the withdrawals, the taxation as well. RESP, whenever you do a contribution, these deposits can be made by a subscriber. Who is a subscriber? It will be a parent, grandparent, a legal guardian can be the contributor or can be the subscriber. And there can be a joint account as well. So for example, mom and dad, they both can open up RESP joint for their kids, and they both can keep contributing the money in there. Grants are paid first $2,500 in the contribution made per calendar year. For example, you contribute $2,500 into an RESP. This is your money, okay? So you contribute $2,500 into an RESP. Government gives you grants on this. How much? We are going to talk about that, okay? But anything that you contribute over $2,500, government does not give you any grants on it. So it only will be your portion of $2,500 that government will be giving you grants on it. Now, grants may be paid on the first $5,000 in the contributions made during a calendar year if, the key point is if the contribution limit was not met in the previous years. So what it simply means, if let's say, for example, your kid was born in 2024, okay? So you did not open up RESP in 2024. Now it's 2025. You open up RESP, you contribute 2,500, you get the grant for 2025. But if you contribute double than that, you get for 2025, and you can go for 1 year back at one point of the time. That's it. You cannot, if let's say your kid was born in 2023. So for example, let me make a little time frame here. So if let's say your kid was born in 2023, and you did not contribute anything in 2023 and 2024, okay? So now you are here in 2025, you contribute 2,500, you get the grant of 2025, you contribute another 2,500, you get the grant of 2024. But you cannot contribute 7,500 in total and get the grant of 2023. That's not how it works. So you can only go 1 year back. But can you still claim the grant of 2023? Well, now in next year, 2026, you have to do the same thing. $2,500 for 2026, another $2,500 if you want to claim your 2023. So you can go only 1 year back at one point of time, but that doesn't mean you cannot go back 1 year or more. Okay, so you can go back. It's all that you can only go back 1 year at one time. So maximum you can contribute in one calendar year will be $5,000. Now, there is no annual limit for the contribution to an RRSP. However, okay, contribution exceeding $2,500 may not receive any grants. There is no annual limit, guys, but there is a lifetime contribution limit. And the lifetime contribution limit is your $50,000 per beneficiary. It says not per contract. It simply means if let's say you have 2 kids, you can open up one RESP, and in one RESP you can contribute $50,000 for one kid, $50,000 for another kid. So in total, how much is that? $100,000. So you are contributing over $50,000, but guess what? That is for 50,000 is for the one beneficiary. That will be one kid, one student. Okay. So if you have multiple kids, you can contribute multiple $50,000 in one single calendar year or one single RESP contract as well. Now, the limit could reach by depositing $25,000 to two different RESPs as well. It simply means if let's say you have one kid, but you have multiple RESPs, and yes, you can open up multiple RESPs. For example, you have one with your bank, one with anywhere else, one with, let's say, I'm managing it, whatever it could be, right? So you can have multiple RESPs, but total contribution cannot be over $50,000 for one particular social insurance number holder. That will be your one beneficiary. Hope this helps. Now, any contributions that you do for your kids RESP, they are not going to give you any tax deductions, but keep in mind they are also not considered taxable income when they are withdrawn. The contributions is what we are talking about, but there is some taxable portion in it as well. But as of now, we are talking about your money. You put in your money, it is not going to give any tax deductions, and it is not going to be taxed when you withdraw from it as well. Any questions still here, feel free to ask in the contributions, and then let's jump on to the grant section. Everyone loves free money from the government, and there is very less cases or very less situations where you get some money out of it. Okay, how RESP simply works is, as I said, remember that number, what was it, $2,500? So any money that you contribute up to $2,500, government gives you grants. How it works? First of all, RESP grants can only be used for the post-secondary education of a child. Okay, if you are using RESP for any other purposes other than education, the government will take back their grants, and of course the other stuff will be taxed. Okay, the growth, and if you got something. Now, if you use it for education purposes, the grants itself, you can use it and government will not take it back. How much money does government put in? 20% of every dollar contributed up to maximum of $500 per calendar year. Okay, so it simply means $2,500 into 20%, that comes down to your $500. Now, if let's say you contribute $3,500, now the 20% of it would be more than $500, but your grant will only be $500. It will be capped onto the $500 maximum grant. I hope this helps. Okay. Now, again, if you guys missed last year's grant, as we discussed on the contributions part, if you missed last year's grant, you can go back 1 year as well. But for that particular calendar year, you cannot get more than $500 as a grant. And this is not the only grant. Okay, we are right now talking about the Canada Education Savings Grant, but this is not the only grant. There are many more grants that you get in it as well. Available until the end of calendar year when child turns age 17. If your child turned age 17 and then your child is 18 years of age, then your CESG, you cannot claim more CESG. Okay, they're only going to give you if your child is 17 or less. Maximum amount of CESG a beneficiary can receive is $7,200. So there was a lifetime limit of contributions as well. Now there is a lifetime limit of government grants as well. So once you have maxed out the government grant of $7,200, they are not going to give you any additional CESG. There are other grants, but they are not going to give you any CESG. Now, simple calculation. If you want to get $7,200, how much is the dollar value? That $7,200 is 20% of that money. So that simply means if you contribute $36,000 in total, $72,000 is your maximum grant that you will be receiving, which is 20% of $36,000. If you contribute over that, and what was the lifetime limit of contributions? $50,000. So any money that you contribute from $36,000 up to $50,000, there are no government grants because they have already maxed out on $7,200. I hope it makes sense. Okay, so don't try to contribute too much money in just 1 year, because they are not going to give you any money over $500 in 1 year. So make sure you divide your years based on the grants. So there comes the planning of it. Additional CESG, more money, more free money. Okay, so not only that you get only 20%. Now additional CESG means the government adds this grant to RESPs for low to middle income earners, income families, and it's going to be the family income, okay, not the sole income. So 10% of the first $500 contributed, which is maximum $50. Hey, you may think $50 won't sound too much, but it doesn't hurt you. Even $50 can compound to much more than that. Okay, so every little dollar counts. $50 as if your family income is between $55,800 and $111,000. Any money that is between 111 till 55, you get 10% on the first $500, maximum $50. Okay, and then 20% is what you get of the $500 contributed. So maximum will be $100, but you need to keep in mind that your family income reported on your taxes has to be less than $55,800. Okay, these are 2024 incomes shown, the numbers shown, but keep in mind to get additional CESG, you have to, your income has to be less than 55 or less than $111,000. Now guys, the deadline for RESP is December 31st. Okay, so December 31st, if you miss out, then again in the next year you have to contribute double to get your previous year's contributions. So if you have a kid, if you have not opened up RESPs, make sure you do it as soon as possible before the year end, so at least you can get the government grants for this year. Just put in another $2,500. If you are eligible for these additional CESGs, you don't have to apply anything additionally. You can simply open up RESP, contribute $2,500, and then your institution will automatically apply for the additional CESG, most likely. Okay, hope this helps. Another, these grants don't end. Other than CESG, there is CLB, Canada Learning Bond. What Canada Learning Bond means? It's an additional grant paid by the government to an RESPs for beneficiaries for low income families who are less than $53,360. Somewhere close to that. Okay, that's an additional grant that they pay. Now, how is that? $500 payable at the account opening. Even though if you don't deposit any money, just by opening the account, $500 is what they give you. Okay, in the CLB, followed by $100 per year until the beneficiary turns age 15. And total money you can get is $2,000. So how much total are we getting here? $7,200 for CESG maximum. Another $100 is what we are getting if you fall under low income tax bracket. Another $2,000 is what we are getting in the form of CLB. And guess what? There is another one as well. Okay, but we'll come to that. Now, this does not rely on any contributions made onto the contract, unlike CESG. As I said, it doesn't matter you contribute money or no, you can get this money. Okay, now this is for the children, those who are born 2004 or after, not before that. Okay, again, income figures are valid until June 2024. Will be, even though they have changed, there will be just minor changes. Okay, not too much, but we are here to just understand the concept now. As I said, grants don't end. So what are the grants that we have discussed as of now? CESG, and then additional CESG. What else? CLB, and now we are talking about BCTESG. You don't have to remember these acronyms, but trust me, no one wants to miss out these all free money from the government for their kids' education. Okay, British Columbia Tax Training and Education Savings Grant. This is the grant for British Columbia residents only, as the first two letters says. But does that mean other provinces are not eligible for it? Not for this particular one, but there is another grant that I will show you right after this. This is a grant for British Columbia residents in addition to all of the above. So all of these grants that we discussed, you're going to get this, plus this, plus this, plus this as well if you're eligible. Now in BCTESG, one-time payment of $1,200 for your children, those who are born 2006. Well, this is basically for the kids, those who are of the age 6 and 9. Not 6 and 9, but like between 6 to 9. So if your kid is aged between 6 to 9 and you guys are residing in British Columbia, you are eligible for this $1,200. This application must be made between beneficiary 6th and 9th birthday, as I just said. Now, both the beneficiary and parent must be residents of British Columbia. Okay, so it's not that, you know, one person is residing in Alberta, the student is somewhere else. That's not going to work. They both have to reside in British Columbia. They can be at different addresses if they are, but they have to be residing in British Columbia. Okay, so we talked about CESG. Let's look at what is the total amount of money that we are getting. So it's $7,200 here. Additional CESG could be another, you know, whatever thousands. CLB is another $2,000. BCTESG is another $1,200. Guys, if you see, roughly you're receiving like $10,000 in just grants for your kid. And imagine how hard is it to just save $10,000 in today's expensive world. Okay, so these are all the grants that you will be getting. It doesn't stop there. So if you are not as a resident of British Columbia, Quebec has their own incentive as well. Okay, so this is the grant for the people in the province of Quebec in addition to above, except BCTESG, because BCTESG is only for the people residing in British Columbia. So if you haven't been to British Columbia, it's a beautiful place as well. Come visit it, and you may want to just live here as well. And if your kid is age 6 to 9, you get another $1,200 for your kid's education living in British Columbia. All right, coming back to Quebec. Each year, RESP account may receive 10% of your net contributions. It simply means contributions because you just don't want to withdraw it, right? So it's 10% of the net contributions paid during a year up to $250. Okay, again the same thing, it's maximum $250 for one, but then you can also go back and claim for the previous years as well if there is unused. And when I say unused, it doesn't mean that you came to Canada this year, your kid was born like 4 years ago, but your kid was never in Canada. So you can only go back when your kid became the tax resident of, or the resident of Canada. Okay, you can only go back to those years. You cannot go back and claim those years that they were not even in Canada. This is available until the end of the calendar year which child turns age 17. That's, you know, basic. And then maximum amount of QESI a beneficiary can receive in his or her lifetime is $3,600 maximum. Okay, not more than that. So once you have maxed it out, that's it. After that, additional QESI is available for low to middle income families, which is additional 5 or 10% depending on the income bracket. Okay, so people, those who are living in Quebec, this is great for them as well. All right, I hope this was helpful. Now let's do a quick comparison. I always love to bring this table up. It's just a good refresher to compare those accounts. Okay, we won't be talking into too much detail for the TFSA, RSPs and the other accounts, but yes, I like to just bring this portion up just so that it's a little bit of a refresher. So guys, RESP versus other accounts. Let's go one by one. Tax-free withdrawals. RESP does not have fully tax-free withdrawals because the grants that you receive in there, there will be a T4 that you will be receiving on whosoever is the withdrawal. That will be usually on the beneficiary's name. So you could say that there won't be any taxes on it because most likely the student will be falling in the low income tax bracket, and that way they don't have to pay any taxes on that. So it could be tax-free withdrawal as well, but by default you will be getting you will definitely be getting a T4 slip of that. Is TFSA's withdrawals tax-free? 100% yes. RRSPs, nope. Whenever you withdraw the money, and RRSP does not have that, you know, that if you are receiving capital gains it will be only 50%. No, RRSP takes away all of those privileges. It simply is whatever money you withdraw from RRSP, it gets added back to your income. Okay, is in FHSA, are your withdrawals tax free? Yes, they are, but only if you're buying a qualifying home. When we say qualifying home, it has to be your primary residence and you have to be a qualifying withdrawal, that you were not a first time home buyer in last, you haven't owned a place or lived in a property that you owned from last 4 years. Okay. Another, do you get any tax deductions on the contributions? RESPs, nope. TFSA, nope. Only RRSP gives you tax deductions on your contributions. So it lowers your taxable income and you get back the tax credits. Do you get any government grants? RESP, yes. Not only CESG. Guys, we talked about all of these grants. It's CESG. We talked about additional CESG. We talked about CLB. We talked about BCTESG. And for Quebec people, it was QESI. We talked about all of these grants, and trust me, you don't want to leave this $10,000 roughly on the table, okay, depending on wherever you qualify. So RESP, does it give you grants? No, it gives you too many grants. TFSA, no. RRSP, no grants. FHSA, no grants. Okay. Contribution room carries forward. RESP's contribution room doesn't get carried forward, but you can go back and claim your previous year's grants. Okay. TFSA, yes, doesn't matter if you opened it up. TFSA, the moment either you were age 18. In British Columbia, you have to be age 19 for TFSA, but it is a very weird concept. So you cannot open up TFSA if you are, age 18, but you do get a contribution room when you were age 18. So you can open up TFSA when you were age 19, but you can contribute for 2 years together. Okay. Other than that, every other province, it's like 18 years. You can open up TFSA, you can contribute into it. And every year they have a fixed limit, doesn't depend on your income. Okay. RRSP, yes, contribution rooms get carried forward, but RRSP room is carried forward. Guys, one thing is, we are as an immigrant, I come across this situations, cases a lot, that a person just came to Canada, their either banker or somebody else just told them, hey, contribute into RRSP, you will get tax deductions. Well, in first year, you cannot claim RRSPs. You cannot contribute in RRSP because RRSP's room is 18% of your previous year's income. So if you have never filed your taxes, you never got the contribution room, you can never contribute into it. Okay, so RRSP is a sensitive funding. You can only contribute if you had an income and filed your taxes in previous year. FHSA, yes, the room gets carried forward, but the condition is you must have opened the account. If you have not opened the account, you cannot carry it forward. Okay, so you must open the account to have the room carried forward. And each year the contribution room is $8,000. Plus, you can only contribute 1 year ahead only. You cannot open up FHSA in 2023, never contributed in 2024, and in 2025 you may think you can contribute $24,000. No, you can only contribute 1 year of your previous unused contribution room. So in one particular year, the maximum you can contribute for FHSA will be only $16,000. Okay, so be mindful of that. Now, all these things will impact your government benefits. It only thing that will impact your government benefits is going to be your RRSP, because whenever you withdraw the money, it is added back to your income. When it gets added back to your income, it affects your OAS and GIS. If you don't know what these things are, we might be doing some other sessions on OAS and GIS where you can get to know a little bit more in terms of how government supports in the retirement, and it will be so much fun to know these numbers because you can barely survive on these numbers. So don't think that, hey, all I'm gonna do is get my pension, retire well. No, that's not how government works. I mean, if that was the case, everyone would just want to come and retire in Canada. Okay, so don't rely on government benefits. Actually build something for your own businesses, for your own families, if you want to retire wealthy. Okay, now, is your investment growth tax free? Yes, in all of them. The growth is tax free, but guys, in RRSP, when you withdraw, it is added back to your income. There is nothing in terms of how much you got in growth, what you did, but it's as simple as that. Whatever money you withdraw from RRSP, it just gets added back to your income. Other than that, FHSA, no taxes. TFSA, no taxes. RESPs, there will be taxes on the government grants portion and the growth as well. And in all of these accounts, guys, all of these accounts, you can invest your money further. It's not only the contributions. You must have seen here, if you read here, we talked about, your investment growth. How your investments grow in these accounts. You have multiple options. You have high interest savings account, GICs that you can do, funds, ETFs, and funds can be anything, ETFs, mutual funds, segregated funds, index funds, whatever it could be. But you do have those options. How to open up RESPs, where to do it. Guys, again, for those things as well, you have 3 options on how to open up RESPs. Number 1, you can either directly go to your bank. Okay, they can take care of your RESPs, but make sure you're confident in whatever. Guys, this is going to be game changer for you. This is going to decide if you are wealthy or if you're poor. This is going to be game changer for you. And if your bank is giving you good growth, perfect, stay to it as long as you're satisfied with it. Second option, do it yourself. You can open up RESPs yourself through any of those self-directed accounts, self-directed tools. But again, guys, keep one thing in mind, you will get all those tax advantages. You still will be getting grants, but the growth portion is where your whole game will change for your kids' future. And don't play with your kids' future. They rely on you as a parent that, hey, my parents have made sure that they have planned best for my education. Okay, so make sure you're planning it well for them. Third thing is independent financial planners, financial advisors, financial consultants. So yes, I deal with RESPs as well. We do manage portfolios in terms of, like RESPs, TFSs. We do all of that as well. So in case if you like to connect with myself, I'll be more than happy to help you out as well. But overall, these are the 3 ways where you can go ahead with your RESPs. All right, guys, who should use an RESP? Simple as that. Any parent who want free. That's the reason I highlighted these 2 keywords. If you don't want free, don't open it. But if you want free government grants for your kids' education, RESP is for you. If it's families who want tax deferred investment growth, guys, even if it's a taxable investment growth, your kid will be withdrawing it. Most likely they will be student, not in the high income tax bracket. They should be good with the taxable portion as well. Okay, so it could be tax free as well, but careful with how we plan for it. Who else can open up RESP? Those who want to help kids graduate with less debt. Guys, every single thing starts from student. The moment your kid has to take a student loan, by the way, no one wants to have their kid study on the, on loans and stuff. But the moment you tell your kid, hey, sorry, I haven't saved enough for you, you have to take a loan, you're on your own, do you think your kids will be respecting too much? Well, you may think, oh, they will respect money, they will understand how money works. You can tell yourself all this. But let's be very honest, you are talking all that crap because you haven't planned for your kid very well. So if you have not planned for your kid very well, don't just give yourself all of this, these statements just to make yourself feel good. Oh, I'm teaching my kid how money works, I'm teaching my kid how to be responsible for money. No, that is because you haven't done enough for your kid. Okay, so plan for your kids' education, plan for them, and make sure they are respecting you and not money. Because of course, who do you want your kid to respect more? Yourself or your money? You pick and choose. If you want your kid to respect more money, then don't do anything for them. Sorry, that's fine, but it is truth. But if you want your kid to respect yourself more, make sure you do every single thing in your control for them. All right. Now, in case you want help setting up your own RESPs, because guys, remember deadline is December 31st to make sure you don't miss out on any grants. If you are in this live, I can definitely offer you a complimentary consultation, or wherever you watch this video after, I can definitely offer a complimentary consultation. And guys, how to book a consultation, you can save my contact. There will be a calendar link in there as well. You can email me, whatever it is. All right. I hope this session was helpful on RESPs. Feel free to let me know, either DM me or comments, whatever, that next session should be on which topic. I will be more than happy to accommodate that. But I hope this was helpful, guys. Year end is coming up. Make sure we plan it right for our kids, for our families, whatever it is, RESPs, FHSs, TFSs, whatever we need to do. Make sure we plan it right. And any question, concerns, I will be more than happy to help. So I'll leave my contact information here for a couple seconds. Other than that, thank you so much for joining. I hope it was valuable. Thank you so much once again. God bless you all.